put it this way. First of all, let me say hello to Mark. It's been some time since we last met. Go back to what Netanyahu said. First, recognition. Second is the economic corridor. Third, it's going to be addressing the issue of the Palestinian. It's not going to work that way. It needs to be faced head on. The Palestinian issue coinciding exactly at the same moment with the area of Saudi recognizing Israel. It's not going to be the other way around.
Palestinians have to be front and center, Abdullah says. Mark,
Yes.
would you agree with that?
First of all, it's fun to be on again with Abdullah. I'd like to say the following. If I understand the Saudi position, there's been a change. It's not that they're ignoring the Palestinians, but the Palestinians, I don't think, have a veto like they used to have over the foreign policy of Saudi Arabia, like they used to have over the foreign policy of other Arab countries. And if in the past the official Saudi position was that there'll only be normalization with Israel if there's a return to the 67 borders, if there's a Palestinian state, if East Jerusalem becomes the capital of a Palestinian state, those maintain other Saudi positions, but they don't condition that on moving forward with Israel. Now, it's clear to me, and Abdullah is correct, there has to be a Palestinian component to an agreement, but it's far less. The bar is much more realistic today than it has been in the past.
All right, and Abdullah, I mean, the Palestinians are on board this time around, aren't they? They sent a delegation to Riyadh. They weren't involved with the Abraham Accords. We've also heard from Jordan's King Abdullah. For the first time, he says he supports normalization between Israel and Saudi Arabia, with the caveat that the Palestinians should not be forgotten. Do you think we are slowly but surely moving there?
Well, I'm optimistic this time, provide you Israeli get your act together. I mean, the minute you do that, things are going to start rolling rather quick. And if I go back to what Mark said, again, Israel need to go back to two fundamental issues. One is the Arab Peace Initiative, and now it is a Saudi peace initiative. And the bar is not lowered. And if you go back again to what King Salman said 2 years ago, and he made it very clear, whatever the Palestinian will accept, it's going to be acceptable to the Saudis. Now, it's up to the Israelis. Are they going to engage at, let's say, a pace that is acceptable to all? Otherwise, they're just going to put, a stick in the wheel.
Good point, Abdullah. Mark, I want to draw your attention to a survey, and you as well, Abdullah. The Washington Institute claiming a third of Saudis want business and high-tech cooperation with Israel. I mean, they're getting the best of both worlds right now, aren't they? Why take the political risk and normalise ties?
I think they understand that upgrading the relationship with Israel brings with it an upgrading of the relationship with the United States. The Saudis have long wanted a NATO-type commitment, a formal legal commitment to their security given by the United States. And it's a package that it works because it's good for everyone. It's good for the Saudis, it's good for the Americans, and it's good for Israel. That's why I'm optimistic. And I think if we saw in 2020 the Abraham Accords with the UAE, with Bahrain, with Morocco, with others, it was based on not ignoring the Palestinian issue, but not letting the Palestinians veto the future of the process. And I think it's possible to do the same with Saudi Arabia. If it worked for the UAE, if it worked for Bahrain, it can work for the Saudis. And just to give Abdullah, I believe, and I worked with Netanyahu for a number of years, as he knows, I think Netanyahu can do what needs to be done to get this deal done.
All right. Abdullah, are you happy with that?
No.
Tell me more. What's happened to that Bahraini optimism?
Okay. No, it's not the matter of being optimistic or otherwise. Put it this way, again, you want to see it from politics as usual. You being, sorry to say, typical Israelis. Okay? The issue is not Saudi. The issue is the whole region. You need to recalibrate your approaches to you being part of this region. The Palestinian-Israeli issue is a major factor that is affecting everything. 3, You're talking about the Saudis, interested in Israeli tech. Israeli tech already in Saudi Arabia.
Abdullah, stay with us, Abdullah. We have to take a break. Hold that thought.
Sometimes it's tough to get past all the noise and get to the heart of the story. Even tougher to make sense of it all. I'm David Matlin, and each weekday I'll take on the most important topics, breaking down the issues so you can decide for yourself. Zoom in each weekday here at I-24 News.
Hey, it's you again. Ready? Let's go. One show, a whole lot of perspectives.
He is part of the problem.
You want to talk about deplatforming?
People are losing their lives.
Not just what happened, but why does it matter?
I'd like to finish my point.
You're the one stretching terms here.
You could be a fantastic CNN reporter.
Join us every night, 8 p.m. Eastern on Global Eye. The global conversation starts here.
We're on the inside of political and religious passions in Jerusalem, breaking down the financial trends shaping the global economy, giving you key context, not just headlines, with the stories from Israel that touch the U.S. and those across the region with impact far beyond its borders. Catch the rundown where the Middle East meets the world.
Made for Me, a unique concept in Israel. Custom-made men's fashion to your measurements. Made for Me, designer of all your events. Schedule your appointment at www.madeforme.co.il. Made for Me, official dresser of I-24 News.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back. And the US President Joe Biden has been sitting down on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in New York with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. It is their first meeting since Netanyahu returned to power back in December. And here to discuss with me, Abdulla Aljenaid, Bahraini columnist, is over in Manama. And here in the studio, Mark Regev is the former Israeli ambassador to the UK. He's now at Reichman University. And let's pick up then, Abdullah, what you were saying before. The Israelis need to get their house in order, I think that's how you put it.
This is one, but picking up on the issue with regard to the regional cooperation in terms of Saudis needing Israeli tech. To start with, the Saudi approach, from my understanding, is totally different than the Israelis. For them, normalization, it is bottom up and not up down. So that's why we've seen the youth, the Israeli youth, taking part in the event that took place under the UN umbrella back in August, or July, I believe. And for the first time, the Israeli national anthem was played. Your team have enjoyed a very welcoming atmosphere. There is no hostility or hostile feeling between the Saudis youth and the Israeli youth. Two, just a few weeks back, you had the first Israeli official delegation taking part again within the UNESCO gathering in Riyadh. So all the indication, more than that, when going back to the Israeli tech, the National Fund or Sovereign Fund have invested openly in listed stocks, Israeli high tech and everything. And there is a lot of Israeli tech companies working in Saudi Arabia.
It's already happening.
Via American, identity.
It's already happening, isn't it? And Abdullah,
it is happening. The thing, Laura, you are insisting on your own version of having the horse instead of the carriage.
Right, well, that's what I want to get to.
There.
That's what I want to get to, Abdullah, because clearly...
the horse is already there.
Clearly, Benjamin Netanyahu... Clearly, Benjamin Netanyahu wants this deal. Clearly, Joe Biden wants this deal. We don't know exactly what the Saudis want, but they do want some concessions made to the Palestinians. The question is, can Benjamin Netanyahu, with his current coalition, make those concessions?
So that's the question. And if I had to bet, I'd bet that Netanyahu will go for a deal. He understands the importance of a breakthrough with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is not just a key country in the Arab world, it's a key country in the Islamic world, the 57-member Organization of Islamic Cooperation. And a deal with Saudi Arabia ends the Arab-Israel conflict. It brings Muslim and Arab countries who are sitting on the fence to normalize their ties to it. Will be a game changer. And I think he has a clear interest in doing it. He understands the historic importance. And if some of his coalition partners have a problem with the elements of the deal that'll deal with the Palestinians, so be it. I think Netanyahu will do the deal nonetheless.
He's willing to lose power or form some kind of compromise government with the other Israeli politicians?
I think if there is a breakthrough with Saudi Arabia, the overwhelming majority of the Israeli public will support the deal. They will understand the importance of the deal, and Netanyahu will have political options then that he doesn't have today. But it won't just work because Netanyahu wants it to happen. It'll work because President Biden wants it to happen, and the Saudis want it to happen.
President Biden's on the clock, isn't he? We don't have forever. President Biden...
Well, that's just it. If the Saudis perceive that there's a window of opportunity, that there's a president standing for re-election who wants to get re-elected, and the Republican game plan, as we all know, is to portray the president as this dithering, ineffectual old man. This is a way for him to demonstrate presidential leadership. This is his way to demonstrate vitality on the international stage. It's good for him. And if the Saudis perceive that there's a window of opportunity to get this thing that they've wanted for years, for decades, a commitment by the Americans, a NATO-type defense commitment that allows them to upgrade their defense of their kingdom, you have a unique convergence of interests between the three parties that makes it doable.
Abdullah, the ball is firmly in the court of the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Do you think he will seize the opportunity?
I'll tell you this, the ball is in the hand of the Israelis to decide what needs to be done. The peace with the Palestinian will serve the Israeli best interest and then the region. And the Saudis, from how I understand things, will definitely think regional and not bilateral.
All right. Abdulla Aljenaid and Mark Regev, thank you very much indeed to you both.